Wow, I kid you guys not. I was in the process of editing my Eastern Conference predictions video. I was literally on the New York Knicks. I was looking at their depth chart and I was seeing a lack of Donte Divencenzo and I was confused. I was getting ready to just take the screenshot and say, hey, ESPN made a mistake, switch in Donte Divencenzo here for the second Miles McBride. And then I look down to the bottom of the depth chart and I see Karl-Anthony Towns. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA offseason has once again blessed us. If you are not aware, Karl-Anthony Towns was just sent to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle and Donte Divencenzo, also a first-round pick on top of that from the Knicks to the Timberwolves. Wow, okay, I'm taking this in. This is my actual first reaction. Let's start this from the Knicks perspective. As I said, I was just about to finish editing my New York Knicks portion of my Eastern Conference predictions video, and I was really high on the Knicks. Slight spoilers, I had them at third in the conference. I really like their roster. I love the Nova Knicks. I like how everything fits together. There was just two things that was holding me back. One, Julius Randle. I just didn't think he really fit this roster stylistically or positionally. And two, the center position. Mitchell Robinson is good enough, but he's very injury prone. This wasn't as big an issue when you had Isaiah Hartenstein on the roster because you still got B+ level center play when Mitchell Robinson was out. But I don't know, Mitchell's so injury prone, and now you have Precious Achiuwa backing him up, who's okay, but he's probably gonna have to start a lot of games, and I just don't feel comfortable with that. So literally my final point for the New York Knicks was if they could find a way to trade Julius Randle for a good big that can space the floor, then they'd probably be up there in at least the same tier as the Celtics. And that they did. Before I could even get the video out, they heeded my advice. So let's go through this one by one. Julius Randle does not fit this roster to me. To me, this roster is going to be kind of an attack by committee with Jalen Brunson at the head of the snake. And Julius is just a bit too much of a ball stopper for me to really think he's going to be able to fit in this roster. And then also positionally speaking, him and OG are both best at the 4 position. And then you got Mikal Bridges at the 3, and I don't know, is Julius gonna play the 5? It was a weird fit. And the fact that they lost Donte Divencenzo does suck. Donte was one of the best 6 men in the league. He was good for chemistry. That is going to hurt. But replacing Julius Randle, one of the biggest ball stoppers in the league, with Karl-Anthony Towns, a great floor spacer, a big that's a great passer, can be a really solid number 2, offensively at least, on what you hope is a championship level team. That's just a really solid swap. Defensively, starting Karl-Anthony Towns at the 5, horrible for your defense. It's not like starting Trae Young at the 1. It's just not super good. You'd like something better. But hey, Tibbs knows how to use Cat. I cannot lie, I am a bit worried. But even defensively, we've already proven that Karl-Anthony Towns can be a good 4 next to a decent defensive big. So you could probably get a lot of mileage out of having Karl at the 4 and Mitchell Robinson at the 5 if Mitchell is healthy. That's all I can say. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's a little weirder, but it does make a little bit of sense. The Timberwolves are strapped for cash. That Rudy Gobert trade, you can say what you will about how it helped them on the court, but financially speaking, it's got them in a bind. It's got them padlocked, and Karl-Anthony Towns is really the only tradable asset unless you wanted to trade Anthony Edwards. But yeah, unless the Minnesota Timberwolves were sure that this roster, a roster where Ant, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert were your 3 highest paid players, unless they were absolutely sure that that roster was going to be able to win them a championship, now is the time to make that move to kind of free up some more cap space for them. And what they got back is pretty good. I think Donte Divencenzo is going to help out their bench a lot. And Julius Randle can be a good addition at the 4 if they play a certain type of way. I don't know. Julius Randle is such a weird fit for me on a lot of teams. He's kind of like a worse version of DeMar DeRozan, where he needs the ball to really be effective, but he's not giving you all-star level production. I guess he's giving you low level all-star production, but he needs the ball a lot to really be effective. But I think he can work with this team if they play really deliberate on offense and either go to him or to Anthony Edwards to create and get a shot up, and then on defense they just really stifle the other team. I don't really know what I'm talking about. It's just, I'm having a little trouble. It's kind of similar to DeMar DeRozan to the Kings, actually, where I think it can work offensively. I'm just having a little trouble seeing it right now. Chris Finch is a good coach, so I bet he can come up with something. I bet he has a style of play in mind. In my mind, I think just a really slow, deliberate play, unless you have an easy, fast break. To me, that's the best way to utilize Julius Randle and kind of just have like a my turn, your turn type offense and a really, really, really stifling defense. Really just put a chokehold on the other team. But yeah, that's going to be tough. I don't think the Timberwolves can be in the same tier as the Thunder and Mavericks now. And it's not just the Julius Randle positional fit. It's also the fact that I hate to keep bringing it up, but the 2 times Julius Randle has played in the playoffs, he has played absurdly bad. It's hard for me to trust a team with Julius Randle as a top 2 option in the playoffs. But stylistically, I think it can work. So if those first 2 years in the playoffs were just a fluke, this team could still be dangerous. Donte Divencenzo does give them a bit more, and I think he can take on a slightly bigger role on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The issue with them is I can see the Karl-Anthony Towns fit on the Knicks. I'm just not really seeing the Julius Randle fit on the Timberwolves quite yet. But I think it's possible. Kind of rambled on. I wanted to get this video out quick because wow. But goodness gracious, let's just get into the ratings and get out of here. For the Knicks, I want to give them a B to a B+. Karl-Anthony Towns is like the perfect pickup for this team. Floor spacing center that can give them a little bit more offensive creation. I only wish he was a better defender. But for the Timberwolves, I'm gonna say a C+ to a B- just because I cannot quite see the fit between Julius Randle and the rest of the team. So yeah, that's all I got. Sorry about my computer. I was working really hard on editing the Eastern Conference preview video, and clearly the heat was too much for the computer and my fan sounds like a airplane turbine, and I've talked for a long time, so I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about this trade. That's all I got. Stay sweaty, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.